In this video, we are going to discuss basics of data collection and some points, important points about the questionnaire design and how to design the questionnaire. To start with the data collection, the process by which the investigator collects information required to answer the research question. And the data collection methods and study instruments, we can talk at first that you should state clearly which information are to be collected and how to collect such information and who will collect the data and when to collect the data. These are important and basic questions that you need to answer for before initiation of the data collection process. The data collection methods are the techniques employed to obtain data from the study subjects or the participants. For each method, there are specific instruments or tools which are used for collecting data. And it's important to discuss here that the common data collection methods include interviewing, which can be held through instruments such as questionnaire or interview guides. And we can talk about individual interviewing methods. Interviewing is defined as the technique in which interviewer meets the study subjects aiming to generate the data relevant to the research objectives. We can also talk about group interviewing methods, and the groups of study subjects meet together to discuss and exchange ideas around a certain topic relevant to the research and in which the researcher is interested to generate important data about it. Focus group discussion is the commonest instrument for the purpose of generating data from a group of individuals. Now we talk about the observation method and the data collected by observation or on-site observation, and a checklist or standard checklist is the commonest instrument which is used for the purpose of on-site observation. We can also talk about the review of records, registers, and reports, and these are definitely the secondary data obtained by carrying review of collected data, documents, or records, or reports, and the instruments that are commonly used for data collection from records and registers and reports are summary sheets and checklists. The common instruments used for data collection in clinical epidemiological research included questionnaire, focus group discussions, interviews, observation, checklist, and summary sheets, and checklist of records and reports and registers. The research instruments are the tools used by the researcher to collect the data, and it's very important that well-constructed instruments are needed to collect quality data. And we should emphasize that only basic data are to be collected, and this should be based on the use of a list of variables which is developed based on the specific objectives of the study. Classically, a questionnaire is formed up of questions covering all study variables, but we can add sections like clinical examination, laboratory investigation, may be included as separate chapters in the questionnaire, because these are important in clinical research and epidemiological research, is that we need to generate some clinical findings or some clinical data or epidemiological data or laboratory investigations that we have carried during the study. When we talk about the questionnaire, the term is variously defined by authors, but here refers to structure or standardized document that is used to collect information from the participant about themselves or others. If you talk about the mothers, you ask, for example, you ask them about family planning methods and their use and their knowledge and their attitude, for example, then we are interviewing them. But we were asking about, for example, childhood immunization status for children under 5. Then we ask them about their children. So mothers will be responding on behalf of their children, definitely. A list of questions by which the researcher generates data from the study respondents or participant. It is the questionnaire as simply. The questionnaire design is a skill that the researcher should acquire such a skill so that he or she can be able to formulate a questionnaire to develop a questionnaire that is capable of generating data of quality. The prerequisites before starting questionnaire design include clear objectives and a list of study variables and a plan for the questionnaire design. Clinical laboratory findings are included as they are elicited presence or absence, for example, of a large spleen, hemoglobin percent, blood glucose level, serum creatinine level. Once collected, the information is converted into measures of factors that are important to the research question and the investigation. The administration of the questionnaire, interview administered or self-administered. Either the questionnaire is administered by the interviewer or it is self-administered questionnaire. The interviewer administered questionnaire is the one in which the questions are read out by the interviewer and the subject makes a verbal response which is written by the interviewer in the design space of the in the questionnaire. And this is widely used for data collection. And usually we can get high response rate when we use interviewer administered questionnaire. And there is a full chance for the interviewer to administer and to explain and to clarify the questions if she or he feel that the respondent could not understand what is meant by the question. So this is an advantage, and the interviewer recognizes the social, cultural, and environmental conditions of the respondents, and then this will be also important that for communicating with the interviewees, so that it will be facilitated or uh, it will be held smoothly. The self-administered questionnaire, the respondent reads the question himself or herself and then writes the answer in the designed spaces in the questionnaire. And usually we expect lower response rate compared to the interviewer administered questionnaire because people, they might be busy by other important aspects in their daily life or something inappropriate for illiterate individuals and for pediatric population because they cannot read by themselves definitely. Computerization is playing an increasingly important role in standardizing interviews, decreasing the time spent of individual interviews and simplifying coding and data entry. Internet-based surveys are also practical for use in the selected group and show great potential for use in the future as access to and familiarity with computers and email and the internet increase. And this is also important. The standardization of the questionnaire, a standardized questionnaire is composed of a series of questions which the investigator determines in advance of the actual interviews. And the interviewer then asks all the study participants the same question in the same order, in the same manner, and the same wordings. And this is very important that it to be held by the interviewer so that they can generate structured and important data that you need to generate fulfilling the criteria of the study. The goal of standardization is that each respondent be exposed to the same question experience and that the record and that the recording of the answer be the same also. Now we talk about some guidelines that the question should be read exactly as worded, and prompting should only be in non-directive manner, and we should not influence during the interviews the respondents so that they can answer their question simply. Recorded answers should reflect what respondents say or state. Interviewers should not provide any personal information, and no feedback to the respondent, even facial expression. This will affect the communication with the respondent. So that differences in the answer can be correctly interpreted as reflecting differences between the respondents, between their answers, rather than differences in the process that produce the answer. Now we talk about unstandardized questionnaire. The interviewer is provided with a list of topics and points to collect information about. Then he or she is free to formulate and ask questions in any order or manner. Interviewer can introduce his or her own views and opinions and concepts, and this is the main disadvantages. And also there are wide variations, and this will cause difficulties in the analysis of the collected data through any standardized questionnaire. Thank you very much.